This is Southern Cross News with Joe Palmer.
The University of Tasmania's proposed Newnham campus move could begin sooner rather than later after the state government today transferred $10 million to UTAS to help fast-track its planning. New concept plans of what Inveresk could look like once developed have also been released.
Signing off on a $10 million deal.
Congratulations. Thank you.
The first instalment of the state government's $60 million commitment to help UTAS move from Newnham into the city, now officially in the bank.
We're really helping to kickstart the project in a practical way and see the development happen soon.
It's about jobs, it's about economic growth, and importantly it's about building a better city.
New concept plans for the $260 million project reveal an additional building has now been included. That's likely to be built beside the river, backing on to existing university accommodation. A footbridge linking the proposed science and technology hub near City Park to Inveresk has also been drawn in. So when is construction expected to begin?
That depends on the planning process. The milestone we've been given is the end of next year. I'd like to go much faster than that. We'd like to start construction just as soon as the Launceston public is convinced that we're building the right campus for their city and the council gives us the approval to go ahead.
The plans will now go out for public consultation before a development application is submitted to council. Concerns about car parking and traffic congestion are being taken into account.
There will be car parking, as I understand it, associated with the Willis Street site, but there will be a further car park which is not shown on those pictures, which is further up the river.
And there's some people or investors already who are buying properties close by to where the university is going to be to turn it into accommodation for students. And once that sort of accommodation, people will walk straight across to the university.
The federal government has promised to contribute $150 million to the project. The state government says its additional $50 million will flow in 2020. Monika Dadson, Southern Cross News.
It may have been one of Labor's worst-kept secrets, but today former radio broadcaster Tim Cox has confirmed he will seek pre-selection for the seat of Denison. The government says it isn't threatened by the high-profile candidate, quick to criticise Labor's state conference agenda.
For 18 months, Tim Cox wrestled with the idea of entering politics.
Good point. Good done.
The former ABC broadcaster today confirming he'll hang up the media boots after decades behind the microphone.
I'd like to take what I've learnt and build on that and try to make a difference in a different sphere. And I can't imagine a sphere where you're likely to make more difference than in the parliament itself.
Backing the Labor ideology, Mr Cox says he's focusing on improving health and education.
I'm pro-choice, I'm a Republican, very strongly an advocate for marriage equality and also for reconciliation.
The high-profile candidate could shake up the typically stable seat of Denison, with the potential to unseat Labor MP Madeleine Ogilvie or even take a third seat for the party. The Deputy Premier not threatened by today's confirmation.
Elise Archer, Matthew Groom, working hard every day. They'll be joined by more strong candidates as well to support them.
Quick to pick out the perceived bad apples in Labor's state conference agenda for this weekend, delegates to debate motions around harm minimisation and decriminalisation of illicit drugs.
We need to be vigilant as a government and proactive as we are, rather than the soft on drugs approach that clearly the Labor Party conference has outlined.
The opposition standing by a need to address drug use, while today vowing to introduce legislation improving the process for emergency first responders to request mental health leave.
You're already sick, and I don't think that you need the burden of having to prove that you're sick.
It's a very onerous process. It can be incredibly harrowing, and indeed it further exacerbates the condition that they're experiencing.
Jacqueline Robson, Southern Cross News.
Tasmania's multi-million-dollar horticultural industry will be better protected from the threat of fruit flies with the introduction of a long-term management strategy. It's the very first industry-assisted action plan aiming to hold on to Tasmania's lucrative pest-free status.
Taiwan, China, Korea, Thailand and the United States all require us to have a fruit fly free status. So without those markets being open to us, we'd instantly have to be reducing our staff numbers.
The threat is increasing and the risk increases as our visitor number increases, which is why we've doubled the detected dog teams, and of course as our climate warms, also the risk increases.
The new management strategy extends to the year 2050. A woman in her 60s is in hospital tonight following a serious single-vehicle crash at Forth this afternoon. Emergency services called to Kindred Road soon after 2 o'clock. The collision brought down power lines and many nearby residents are still without electricity. Tas Networks is working to fix the issue. The injured woman was taken to the North West Regional Hospital. Her condition is unknown. The road was closed for more than 2 hours while the scene was cleared. Authorities are warning about dangerously icy weather over the next few days. As a cold front passes over the state, in its wake it comes the sort of conditions known for creating black ice.
What was a mild winter's day got swallowed up by a cold front. Low clouds, rain and snow predicted as low as 200 metres in some areas tonight.
We're going to see the snow level decrease to around about 200 to 300 metres in the southern half of the state, also including the Central Plateau.
This was the view from the Great Lake Hotel this afternoon as the snow settled.
It's been snowing on and off since about lunchtime, but it's only just started to be blizzard-like and settling. So at the moment, it's just like you'd see in a Christmas card.
While snow proves a popular attraction for tourists, authorities are warning about their major weather concern, black ice.
Generally, when you've got a front coming through, you have the showers across the state, moistening the surface, and then very cold conditions make that surface ice over.
Police say motorists should take notice of warnings, slow down, increase the distance between vehicles, and remain vigilant for hidden dangers.
The black ice is a real problem because you can't identify it, and in particular as I'm talking about, for example, the Central Plateau and the Highlands where tourists visit at this stage.
As the icy conditions set in over the next few days, authorities say motorists should check the Tasmania Police Community Alert page for the latest on road closures.
So if you check the Tasmania Police website, the Tas Alerts webpage, you will find there are roads closed already due to inclement weather.
The Weather Bureau is predicting widespread frost on Saturday and Sunday mornings. Michael Breen, Southern Cross News.
Whale sightings are being reported across Tasmania as the creatures travel on their annual migration. This footage was captured by advanced drone media of a whale exploring the Derwent between Sandy Bay and the eastern shore. Authorities are warning people on the water to keep their distance. Richie Porte says he is relaxed and ready ahead of the Tour de France, but he denies being favourite for the race. The Tour Down Under winners campaign is now just days away. But something you might not know about Porte is how Tasmania stays with him on every tour, thanks to a special piece of jewellery.
He's about to pursue a maiden Tour de France title, but while Richie Porte wears his heart on his sleeve, he also has his home state around his neck. Custom made by his former coach of 10 years.
Just probably wanted a silver chain and a silver pendant one day, and we come up with the idea, why not a map of Tassie, you know, because he loves Tasmania. Everything he does is for Tasmania.
Port's original silver pendant pinpointed his hometown of Hadspen. He's since upgraded to a 9-carat gold version, engraved with a personal message from his mum.
You can't teach somebody the pig, it's bred into them, and he's got the fight, and I think he's got more fight in him since the last race he did.
That last race, the Criterium du Dauphiné, where Porte finished second. The BMC rider is now in Dusseldorf, Germany, preparing for stage 1 of the Tour de France.
I think the goal is just to try and enjoy it as much as possible.
In an interview with Eurosport overnight, Porte named Chris Froome the man to beat. We also found out Porte brings his own pillow from home while on tour, and his favourite food is avocado.
Based on the fan support that you get on social media and when you are back in Australia, you know, my profile is only getting bigger, and I think that's more because cycling's getting a much bigger following.
The tour begins on Saturday. Tom Johnson, Southern Cross News.
Researchers from Tasmania's Menzies Institute have revealed the findings of a study into breastfeeding. They found babies who are exclusively breastfed for the first 3 months of their life are almost twice as likely to maintain a healthy weight up to 6 years old. The researchers say they understand some mothers can't breastfeed, but it can help inform medical recommendations.
Currently in society we have an epidemic of overweight and obesity, not only in adults but in children, and that this is one factor that can impact on those rates of overweight and obesity.
The study used 20 years of data from more than 6,000 babies. Now a look at the day's business and finance news with thanks to Tasplan, your local super fund. The share market has closed higher due to strong gains by the banks, miners and energy companies. The ASX 200 index has risen by 62.4 US cents. Short time ago, the Australian dollar was trading at 76.61 US cents and 104.83 New Zealand cents.
It's shaping up as a Windsor Park war this weekend, with the Blues and Bombers ready to clash in what should prove a massive game, while Glenorchy are desperate to muscle their way back into premiership contention, starting with a win over the Tigers at the Twin Ovals. The hardest match of the round to pick, with the Bombers and the Blues still very much in the mix, despite both falling just short against the competition's best two sides over the weekend. Always problematic for the opposition, Thor Boscott returns from suspension for the trip to Windsor Park.
This one becomes one of those massive games where we need to win, and which will keep us in touch with the top three, or or maybe play finals footy if we get over this one.
The Blues plan on coming out physical on home turf, with Lonergan predicting fireworks.
We've certainly based ourselves from contested side of footy, clearances and all of that side of it's been fantastic. So I expect a really red-hot game on Saturday from both sides.
After failing to back up some bold claims about being the superior outfit against the D's, the Tigers will have a point to prove at home against their bogey side, Glenorchy. Enforcer Marcus Davies has declared himself fit to play, brushing off suggestions the side is slipping back into bad habits following the weekend's loss.
We had too many passengers on the weekend. We didn't have enough leaders out there. We probably only had 3 guys that played a good game, I guess. So that was very disappointing. We don't see it like that. We think we're a much better club today.
Former Hawk Zach Webster returns from suspension for the Pies, with the club very keen to claw its way back into the premiership discussion after plummeting off the radar.
It definitely drives them. I know it's been brought up by a few of those guys about just trying to make sure that we tick all the boxes, but I think over the next few weeks we play Clarence, New North Launceston, Lauderdale, all the way from KJ5, so to really make sure after that we'll get a gauge of where we're at.
The Tasmanian Netball League Crips will have their work cut out for them this weekend when they make the long trip north to take on the Cavaliers. A win is crucial to keep their finals hopes alive.
We've got a few close games coming up that we need to win because we're just sitting out of the 4 at the moment. We're at the 5th spot, so these next wins for the next 3 weeks are really important for us.
Well, new Netball Tasmania high performance manager Joanna McDermott says she's settling into the role nicely.
It's been a great couple of months of learning experiences across all levels, from dealing with the junior programs through to the senior state leagues, and I think we're in a good place.
Round 13 kicks off this Friday night in Hobart, with Karana taking on OHA. Well, it's official. The Olympia Warriors will take on New South Wales NPL club Apia Leichhardt in their FFA Cup round of 32 clash. With little known about the club, the Warriors will have to do their research if they're to carve out their own slice of Tasmanian football history. In the comfort of club president George Mamarcus's Belrive mansion, the Olympia Warriors learnt their FFA Cup round of 32 fate.
Number 27.
The Warriors drawing NPL New South Wales club, the Apia Leichhardt Tigers, currently sitting second on their league ladder with 12 wins and 4 losses. Olympia gold magnet Jacob Sklenar has played against the side when he was trialling in New South Wales a couple of years back.
They are Italians. I know they've got a quality team, but I think it's not a team who we cannot verse, and we can't be confident to play.
But his coach's knowledge of the Tigers wasn't quite as extensive.
Nothing at all.
The game will be played either late July or early August, and the Warriors will have the home ground advantage, but the venue is still to be determined.
Possibly KG5, but I mean, we'll have to obviously discuss things with the federation and obviously the club and see which is the desired place to play.
What is for certain is the buzz sure to surround the match. Last year, the Devonport Strikers made history by becoming the first Tasmanian side to make it past the round of 32. Olympia will now try and go one better.
It's not just say, oh, we're better than Devonport, but it's just, you know, that's always great to you know, create more history. History for the club and history for Tasmania.
I think it's important that Olympia does all it can to market this game and to make sure that we get a huge crowd to support the club.
Good evening. Hobart, Burnie and Devonport all 11 degrees today. Launceston reached 12, while Flinders Island had our high with 13. Temperatures down on average by as much as 5 degrees today. The low was recorded by Fingal on -3. King Island, Low Head, St Helens and Friendly Beaches 12. Wynyard, Grove and Campania 11. Strawn 10. Lyoweeney scrambled to just 3 degrees. Now there is cloud outlining a well-defined cold front commencing its swoop on Tasmania. Cloud to the west and south is indicative of very cold air. Low-level cloud over the Bight and the South Australian coast is due to an onshore flow under another high-pressure system, a further cold front to the west. The close-up shows that cold front on its way right across the state and that cold pool of air behind it. Tomorrow a high will move over the Bight to become the dominant feature on the nation's weather, that cold front clipping Western Australia. Winds from the southwest and up to 20 to 30 knots over eastern waters and to around 15 to 20 knots over remaining coastal waters. They should swing around to the west-northwest in the afternoon. We have 4-metre swells for the west and south. Strong wind warning for waters from Stanley all the way around to Low Rocky Point, excluding Banks Strait and Franklin Sound. A bushwalkers alert for the western and central plateau. Also a warning to sheep graziers for the east and southeast, and a road weather alert for all of the state. Conditions looking like they're going to produce a fair bit of black ice on our roads. For tomorrow, a shower or two, a top of 10. That's for Hobart. Ewanville, a top of 10. Campania, a possible morning shower, 11 degrees. For Launceston, morning frost, partly cloudy, -4 to a top of 10, 11 the high for Devonport. Mostly sunny for Georgetown, 10 degrees the maximum. For Burnie, a morning frost, partly cloudy in the afternoon, 12 the high, 10 for Strawn with a light shower clearing. A frost to start the day in Wynyard, a top of 12 later. And for St Helens, morning frost, partly cloudy, 11 degrees, 11 with a light shower over Swansea. Light shower as well for Port Arthur, a top of 10 degrees. On Saturday, widespread morning frost and valley fog, otherwise a fine day. A similar start to Sunday, just the chance of a light shower over the north. And on Monday, showers developing over the north before extending statewide. Showers developing too in Perth tomorrow, partly cloudy over Adelaide and Melbourne. A frosty start for Canberra, just 10 tomorrow. Sunny weather for Sydney and a clearing shower over Brisbane.
Well, that's all from the team for now. We'll see you throughout the evening. Thanks so much for joining us. Bye-bye.